this with any sort of 4, any sort of 7. So I would probably call, but main reason is not that I might be good enough here often enough. I don't think it's that much valuable in this kind of a spot. But more than that, I want to see his hand. And so, because I'm going to play my button versus his big blind for a very long time if I stay at the table, because this guy seems to be sitting out.
Yeah.
So, and this guy is probably never going to fold his big blind, because, I mean, he's probably not even folding at any point, but when he's in the big blind and heads up to the button, I don't expect him to fold like any 2 cards. Like, I'm pretty sure he's going to call with deuce 3. So we want to know about his style, or, I mean, the way he plays. So I think this is a call for that reason.
Okay. I'm glad you said style and not range, because if his range is going to be 100%, that's not going to tell us anything about his range, but it's definitely going to tell us some things about his post-flop tendencies.
Yeah,
so
I mean, we don't
he did
care.
End up having king 9.
Yeah, I mean, it's expected. I mean,
which is kind of what you thought. You know, him check calling twice and then leading on the river is kind of right in line of what you said, as far as, you know,
he's
him
just trying to
milk.
I mean, he's not check raising at all, because he probably just check raises with like super strong range, or basically, I mean, some sort of draws, I guess. I don't know if he's doing that with draws, but I don't expect this guy to ever check. I mean, I expect him to, let's say, check raise ace deuce on ace high board to see where he's at, basically. I mean, for just basically this lame reason. But, I mean, that sort of stuff, or basically the total nuts. But even with the total nuts, I expect him to be slow playing a little. But his river bet just seems like a queen or a king most of the time, because, I mean, I don't expect him to lead with a 7 that often.
Right.
So, I mean, a queen wouldn't surprise me. So actually, I mean, in this hand, when he turns over king 9, we didn't get that many information, because we really expect him to play king 9 exactly like this. I mean, we don't need to see a showdown versus this. But now we're at least sure that he's doing this. So I think it's still good enough. And I mean, let's say this guy is some sort of a more aggressive guy. I mean, not saying that a real aggressive guy, but let's say he knows that what showdown value is and never gonna check to us with no showdown value. Let's say he has 5-6. There are some guys who are never gonna check the river to you with 5-6,
right,
even if they check all 2 streets, because they know that they can't win the hand like that. So when a guy like that leads, now we can find more calls, because they're like, I mean, actually all the draws missed, basically. I mean, and there's enough.
So let me ask you this. Would you be more likely to call it if he was to pot the river into us, or do one of those smaller bets that he just did?
I much rather call a biggish bet, because it polarizes this kind of guy's range. I mean, I'm not saying that I have a read on the guy or something, but these guys usually just bet big when they're bluffing, and they basically have the suit nuts and expect to get calls. So it's more like they check call, and shove. It happens, right?
Yes.
They check calls you twice and open shoves the river to you. Let's say on a paired board, and
yeah, it's either quads or nothing.
You usually see like at least threes, or some sort of like super unexpected junk, which you can't find a reason to call. How did he call 2 streets? So, like you just can't find a reason, but he somehow do, and he just open shelves the river trying to get you off something, or basically trips plus. I mean, it's never gonna be like top pair or an over pair. So anyway, it's just way more polarized. So I much rather call a big bet, because small bet seems like milking, like trying to get a call. But the thing that we bet super small on turn might actually, I mean, we might just, it just screams that we're gonna check behind the river.
Yeah, totally.
That's it. I mean, I don't know if this guy is capable of picking up on that. But let's say we are playing. Let's say we're in his position and we decided to defend king 9, which is actually okay. I mean, I'm not saying that this is a bad defense. But let's say we decided to check call twice. I mean, we check the turn, and the villain bets like half pot on such a drawy board. I expect the villain to check behind the river like after the draws miss like every single time. So he might just pick up on that and decides to lead the river, but
Yeah.
might not. So the problem with the small turn bet is we actually don't get why he did what. I mean, we can't just find reasons for his play sometimes just because we bet the turn small. We now don't know if it's because of that we bet the turn small, or it's just his normal play. I think that's also another problem with the turn bet. I'm not sure they just bet my standard value size on the turn here.
Yeah.
I'll just bet $2. So I mean, I'm not gonna get into a guessing spot. Did I induce something or not? And I actually don't expect to induce something that often, but it's just gonna my mind. So just not to outlevel myself, I would just do my standards play. And actually, in these limits, playing pretty standards in certain situations is also better. So you're not gonna. I mean, I'm assuming that when you're playing 10NL session, you're gonna be multiply tabling. I mean, you're not gonna one table.
Yeah, I've been playing about 6 tables. The question was, just what kind of a bet size is standard here? Whether versus a player like this. But what you're saying, yeah, like just the standard value bet.
Yeah, standard value. It's like from $2 to close to pot, like 2.2, 2.1. I mean, basically, because when you're betting here, your main goal is not to get value from like the second best stand here. Like, I mean, we don't have ace king here or kings here trying to get value of like the second set or two pairs. We are basically going for a really thin value. That's true, but actually not that. I mean, we are not targeting his mate hands. I mean, I don't think he can have enough mate hands here to make a call. Like, I mean, actually, it's pretty much 4x. Some sort of maybe underpairs, but more of that I expect him to call with a draw here, like any gut shot, because Fish thinks that pairs are hard to outdraw someone, but with let's say he has 5-8 here.
5-8, yeah.
Yeah, he's actually drawing to the nuts. So whenever he hits the offsuit 6. Or well, basically 6, because he might not be raising on the 3 flush board, but he's never folding. So he thinks that he has now 4 outs to the absolute nuts, so he might even outdraw your pocket kings here. So he's just going to call probably like more streets if you bet. But with, let's say, 4x, he might find a fold sometimes.
Yeah.
But if he is calling with the 4x, he doesn't care if you bet $1.25 or $2. He's just going to call because he wants to hero call now, because now he has a value hand to call it. I mean, he's calling because he thinks his hand might be good. Now he's thinking like that, he doesn't care about how much you bet, because actually it's even cooler for him to call a bigger bet when he's hero calling, because I mean, more glory in that. So
and he's gonna get paid off more when he hits his trips or weird 2 pair.